Salvador, Central America.
Inside El Salvador's mega prison, where inmates never leave and sunlight is a distant memory. The silent war buried beneath steel and concrete. In the heart of El Salvador, a country of just over 6 million people, lies a fortress unlike any other, a monstrous slab of cement, steel, and dread. The Terrorism Confinement Center, CECOT. This so-called mega-prison isn't just the largest correctional facility in the world. It is quite literally where hope goes to die. What was once a land plagued by extortion, street executions, and unspeakable crimes is now governed by a policy so severe, so unrelenting, that even hardened gang members beg for death. As families cry out for justice and the wrongfully imprisoned vanish without a trace, President Nayib Bukele's iron-fisted crackdown continues unabated, applauded by some, feared by all. In a single year, more than 70,000 men were swallowed by the concrete jaws of CECOT. Inmates with no trial, no legal representation, no way to contact loved ones, their faces buried in white cotton uniforms, their lives buried behind 9-meter-high walls. These are not just prisoners. These are the forgotten. The crackdown that shook a nation. It all began in March 2022. President Bukele, determined to purge the country of its infamous gangs, MS-13 and Barrio 18, declared a state of emergency following a weekend bloodbath that claimed 87 lives. The military response was swift and brutal. Entire neighborhoods were raided. Young men were dragged from homes without warning. Families wailed in the streets as mothers clutched photographs of missing sons. Bukele's message was clear. El Salvador was no longer negotiating with evil, but at what cost? Percent of the population behind bars overnight, El Salvador became the world's most incarcerated nation. Roughly 2% of the adult population vanished into a system designed not just to punish, but to erase. No calls, no visits, no sunlight, no escape. In the dead of night, handcuffed men were herded like livestock onto buses, their heads bowed, their feet shackled. Some had tattoos marking their allegiance to MS-13 or Barrio 18. Others were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Families received no information. Phone calls were blocked. The prison became a black hole. Psycho, a name whose meaning is felt in blood, among the most feared of the inmates is Marvin Ernesto Psycho Vasquez, a man whose rap sheet reads like a horror script. A veteran gang leader, he claims to have started killing at 11. Now 41, he has spent over half his life commanding respect through fear and blood. When you grow up with no dad, no future, no food, you look to the streets, Psycho said in a rare interview inside CECOT. Now I've lost everything. My mother, my son, all because I chose this life. His arms are painted in symbols, spiderwebs for life sentences, teardrops for murders, numbers that echo with unspeakable acts. He admits to more than 50 killings. Probably more. He shrugs. A fortress designed to bury the soul CECOT isn't just a prison. It's an engineered hell. Spread across 410 acres, it is fortified by multiple 3-meter inner walls, a 9-meter outer wall, and a 3-meter electric fence charged with 15,000 volts. 19 watchtowers loom like vultures. Each of its 8 modules houses over 2,500 inmates, many packed 80 to a cell. Some cells hold as many as 150. No windows, no air circulation, just metal bunks stacked 4 levels high. No pillows, no mattresses, 1 toilet, 1 barrel of water. Prisoners sleep, eat, defecate, and shower in the same corner. Their world is confined to half a square meter of personal space, barely enough to sit upright. Eyes that no longer blink. Look into their eyes, said one guard. They've lost the ability to feel. They don't even blink like normal people. It's like their souls left long ago. Most inmates are in their early 20s. Many will never leave. There are no rehabilitation programs, no parole boards, no second chances. For those who violate even a single rule, talking back, defying orders, mouthing coded gang messages. A deeper darkness awaits. The isolation cell. Solitary confinement, a room with no hope concrete slab for a bed, a hole in the wall for sunlight, a dirty basin for water and another for excrement. No books, no human interaction, not even a clock. You don't even see your own hands in the dark, said a warden. After a few days, they start talking to themselves, screaming, clawing at the door. Legally, isolation is capped at 15 days, but many disappear for weeks. The sounds of submission, CECOT's design includes an eerie feature, gravel paths outside. Each module. Every step echoes. There is no sneaking away. Even hope must walk loudly here. Guards operate on a tight schedule. Inmates are granted 1 hour per week outside their cells, under strict surveillance. Exercises, Bible studies, and grooming are done with military precision. Inmates are shaved every 2 weeks, not for cleanliness, but to prevent the concealment of razor blades or weapons. Hair is considered a threat. Living with the enemy, shockingly, rival gang members, MS-13 and Barrio 18, are housed in the same cells. These groups once waged street wars that left thousands dead. Now, in a twist of irony and survival, they sleep beside each other. They know this isn't the street anymore, said a prison officer. Here, even enemies have to obey. Eating, with hands, dreaming of meat meals inside CECOT, are as monotonous as the air is stale. Rice, beans and tortillas, served cold and eaten with bare hands. Meat is a luxury they'll never taste again. No protein, no nutrients, one guard admitted. Just enough to keep them alive, nothing more. Big Brother is watching. Always. The modules are permanently illuminated. Cameras cover every square meter. Guards walk the catwalks above like predators circling prey. There's no such thing as night here, an officer explained. The light never goes off. They use towels to cover their faces just to sleep. Still, danger persists. Inmates mouth silent messages to outside gang members. Some plan revenge. Others spread threats. Each whisper could spark bloodshed. Rumors of revenge despite. The brutal crackdown, whispers of coordinated attacks from outside gang cells persist. Government officials respond with threats of starvation. If they try anything, said one official, there won't be a grain of rice in this prison. Let's see how long they survive. When justice is blindfolded, human rights groups claim thousands have been arrested with no evidence. Bukil's war against crime may have turned into a war against freedom. With no trials, no public records, and no legal defense, families often don't even know if their loved ones are alive. Peace. But at what price? Since the crackdown, El Salvador's homicide rate has plummeted from 104 per 100,000 people in 2015 to just 2.4 in 2023. Once considered one of the most dangerous countries in the world, El Salvador is now hailed by some as the safest in Latin America. But this peace comes with a haunting silence. A silence built on steel, fear, and isolation. The unseen victims. Not everyone inside CECOT is guilty. Some were arrested for having tattoos, for being in the wrong neighborhood, or for looking suspicious. With no family contact allowed, many have simply vanished, their stories buried under the weight of national pride and political triumph. One former inmate, later proven innocent, said, "I didn't know what day it was. I thought I was going to die in there, and no one would ever know." Buckley's gamble. To some, Buckley is a hero. To others, a dictator in the making. His methods are controversial, his results undeniable. El Salvador is safer, but at what human cost? The mega prison remains a symbol of both victory and vengeance, a paradox wrapped in barbed wire, a place where crime goes to die and where justice may already be buried. Final Thoughts CECOT is a terrifying reminder of what happens when a country trades due process for discipline, a fortress that holds not just the guilty, but the forgotten, a place where human rights end at the gate. The world watches as El Salvador continues down this path, wondering whether its greatest victory against crime
El Salvador's
is also its
prison.
most devastating moral defeat.
Nightmare.
This is
Inside
not just
the
the world's
prison,
most
it is a
terrifying
warning,
fortress for human monsters. Mass arrests, secret transfers, and a hell built to last. San Salvador. The screams go unheard. The cries for help die in echo chambers of steel and concrete. And in El Salvador, a nation once ripped apart by crime and gang terror, a new kind of horror has risen, one built by the state. More than 70,000 men, almost 2% of the adult population, have been locked away in what authorities call the Terrorism Confinement Center, CECOT, but human rights advocates call it something else, a megastructure of organized suffering, a modern dungeon disguised as justice. Constructed with brutal precision across 410 acres and encased behind triple security rings, CECOT isn't just the largest prison on Earth by capacity. It's the final destination for those deemed too dangerous to ever return to society. Inside these walls, hope dies young. The monster behind the wall. What is CECOT? Built in 2022, under the order of President Nayib Bukele, CECOT is a fortress engineered to crush criminal enterprise by removing its foot soldiers from the streets and from memory. It can hold 40,000 inmates but was designed not just to house them, but to control them absolutely. No contact with the outside, no visits, no sunlight, no legal aid, no ventilation, no names, only numbers. From razor wire to a 9-meter high electric perimeter fence humming with 15,000 volts, every inch of CECOT screams, there is no way out, stripped, scanned, and silenced entering. The prison is an ordeal even for invited media. All belongings are confiscated, wedding rings removed. Every visitor passes through an X-ray scanner capable of seeing bones and internal organs. Inside, guards wear masks to protect their identities, not from inmates, but from their powerful allies still on the streets. These gangs have long memories, said one masked guard. If they recognize me, my family could pay the price. The arrival, a parade of desperation. When inmates arrive, often dragged from their homes in pre-dawn raids, they come by the busload, shackled, heads down, silent. Each is fingerprinted and photographed. No names, no ID. Once they cross into CECOT, they disappear from the world. The buses arrive like funeral processions, except the dead are still breathing. Psychopaths, sociopaths, and the unforgiven, these are not petty thieves. Among them are the most feared leaders of MS-13 and Barrio 18, gangs that once held the nation hostage with brutal violence. Some claim body counts in the hundreds. Tattoos tell stories. Teardrops for kills. Devil horns for worship. Spiderwebs for life sentences. They used to run entire neighborhoods. Now they don't even control when they eat. How many people have you killed? One man, known as Psycho, agreed to an interview. A 41-year-old with a baby face and full-sleeve tattoos. He spoke through a thick accent and with chilling honesty. More than 50, he said without hesitation. Sometimes you just had to. He began killing at age 11, seeking shoes, food, and father. Figures in gangs. Now he has nothing, not even his son, whom he hasn't seen since the boy was 5. He's 21 now, he said, his voice cracking. I just want to tell him, don't be like me. No air, no hope, no exit. Each of the 8 modules contains 32 cells, with 80 to 150 inmates crammed into each. That leaves just 0.5 square meters of personal space per prisoner, smaller than a kitchen tile. There are no windows, no ventilation, no sunlight, only surveillance. Cameras watch every angle. Lights never go off. Even at night, the mega prison glows like a beacon of despair. Toilet and shower, side by side. Inside, inmates sleep on 4-level metal bunks with no mattress or pillows. They receive a single towel, 1 uniform, and 1 sheet. 2 toilets per 80 men. No running water. A single. Blue barrel sits in the corner. That's drinking water. That's all there is. Animals in a cage or men in chains. Once bitter rivals on the streets, MS-13 and Barrio 18 members now share cells, elbow to elbow. For years, crossing into rival territory meant certain death. Now, they are forced to coexist or be crushed. How? Guards say it's simple. They have no choice. A place that erases identity, no mirrors, no names, no recognition. Every inmate is shaved every 2 weeks. Heads, faces, everything. Not for vanity, for control. Long hair and beards can hide razor blades. Hope hides nothing. The hour of mercy. 1 hour a week, each week, prisoners are allowed outside their cells for exactly 1 hour. They do push-ups, listen to scripture, and stare at the sky they'll never touch again. Guards with rifles stand overhead. Even when they breathe, we watch them, said one officer. Revenge from inside. The gangs are still alive. Despite the crackdown, whispers leak out. Censored footage shows inmates mouthing silent messages. Even in chains, the gangs send signals. The government threatens starvation if violence erupts outside. Not 1 grain of rice, a senior official warned. Let's see how long they last. Lunch in hell. Beans, rice, and no protein meals never change. Breakfast, beans and rice. Lunch, white rice and pasta. Dinner, the same. No meat, no fruit, no milk. This sugary drink is the only thing with flavor, said a guard. But they must clean every plate with their hands. No waste allowed. The box. Isolation for the broken. The worst punishment? Isolation cells. Here, light is a memory. Time does not exist. There is no bed, just a concrete slab. 1 bucket for water, another for waste. A vent the size of a coin lets in air. This breaks even the worst men, said the warden. This is what justice looks like. The debate, justice or madness. Human rights groups argue CECOT violates international standards. Amnesty International calls it a black site, but others praise. The results: homicide rates in El Salvador have plummeted from 104 per 100,000 in 2015 to just 2.4 in 2023, one of the lowest in the region. President Bukele boasts of peace. Locals can finally walk outside at night. Extortion has fallen. Order has returned. But at what cost? Wrongfully imprisoned. The ghosts of the crackdown. Not all inside CECOT are guilty. Sweeping raids arrested tens of thousands. Some were jailed on vague suspicions. With no contact allowed, their families have no idea where they are, or if they're alive. For them, this documentary was the first proof their loved ones still existed. The world is watching. Critics say Bukele has built a prison state. Supporters say he has saved a nation. The truth may lie somewhere in between. But one fact is clear. In a country of just 6 million, 70,000 are already behind bars. And CECOT still has room. Inside this mega prison, the forgotten are buried alive, not under soil, but under silence. Will this be the future of global justice, or a warning to the world? Only time will tell.